Good morning, everyone. It's the 26th of July, 2019, and I want to talk a little bit this morning about my potato production yield this year and how I achieved a 9-pound yield to 1 pound planted, which is pretty good. I planted a 145-foot double row with 50 pounds of red Pontiac seed potatoes. My results calculated were 9.2 pounds of potatoes for a 3 foot of double row dug. So the total yield should be about 445 pounds, or approximately a 9-pound yield to each pound planted. It's a fairly good yield based on what I've read on the internet. Next year I'm hoping to do much better, and I'll talk to you a little bit about how I plan on doing that. So right now I'm going to go on down through the data here and talk a little bit about some things. This is some information off the internet. And it says if you're a new grower, you can expect between 5 and 10 pounds of potatoes for every pound you plant. Now, that is if you plant them right. If you plant the things much too closely and real tight together and everything, you're not going to be able to do that good. You got to plant, have the right amount of spacing between your plants, and the right fertilization, and there's a lot of things that need to be considered. So it says 1/2 to 1 pound per foot of row. What I did is I did 3 feet of double row, and I got 9 pounds. So it'd be 3. According to their calculations here, I should have had about 6 pounds per 3 foot of row, but I actually got 9 pounds per 3 foot of row. So I did pretty good. I got up close to 10 pounds. Like I say, I got about a 9-to-1 yield, so I did really good. It says potatoes can yield much higher than the numbers above, but they advise these people here, the Vermont Valley Community Farm, LLC Organic, they expect you to be cautious. So I did really good this year, I think. But there's reports I've seen off the internet that you can get up to 20 pounds per pound planted. So I'm going to try to do that next year. Here's another, some more information from the internet. It says the average potato yield per plant. So it tells you here about how to space your rows and how to plant your seeds. Certainly if you plant your seeds a whole lot closer, it's going to take more seeds per foot of row, and your potatoes are not going to do that well because they're going to be competing with each other. So you can't plant them too closely, and you can't plant the rows too closely. What I plant is double rows, and the reason why I plant double rows, I leave maybe about 1.5 feet between the 2 rows, and I can heel up on each side, and it leaves me a space in the middle to water if it gets really dry. And I had to water my potatoes one time this year is all, because we've had pretty good rain throughout the summer. So this is some more stuff from the internet. It says, what yield can I expect from my seed? And it says potato yield can vary greatly. It says more so than any other crop, potatoes respond to high fertility and a constant water supply. They do not compete with weeds. Now, let me explain the constant water supply. If you put too much water on them, they can certainly rot. so you can't water them too much. A lot of things you need to be concerned about: the temperature, the weather, how much sun they get, how much water they get, the fertility of the soil, the looseness of the soil. And these people here, they talk about after 20 years of growing, and now with high fertility, full irrigation, and essentially a weed-free environment, we expect an average yield of about 13 pounds of potatoes for every pound we plant. That's 1.6 pounds per foot of row. So according to their calculation, I would have got 3 times 1.6 times 2. That'd be about, well, you can figure that out. They talk about 28,000 pounds per acre. Now, they've done much better, but they've also done much worse. But in the first years of growing, they did much worse. If you're a new grower, you can expect between 5 and 10 pounds for every pound you plant. So I did 9 pounds per pound that I planted, so I did really good. Potatoes can yield much higher than numbers above, but we advise being cautious about your expectations. So let me run on through this. And there's many, many different ways you can talk about production. You know, you can talk about how many pounds you got back for how many pounds you planted, how many pounds you get per acre, how many pounds you get per foot of row. So there's many different ways. Now you can plant, if you're planting a whole potato, then you know, obviously it's going to take more potatoes to plant your rows. But what I do with my potatoes is I cut them into quarters or thirds or whatever, depending on the size of the potato. So I can plant a lot more row length than if I'm planting with the whole potato. So that's another thing to consider there. Going on down through this, here are some of the potatoes that I dug. These are red Pontiac potatoes, and that's what I planted this year. This is a picture of some that I dug while I was doing the calculation on my production for this year. This is my potato row. Like I said, I had a 145-foot row. And you can see this is the end of the vegetative state growing there. So they were pretty dead here. A few other plants still had some green on them, but for the most part they were pretty dead. Now, this is a picture of them early on where they've been healed up on both sides. And you can see there's a double row there with this space here in the middle where you can water them if it gets really dry. And over here on the side, I've got some cabbage plants planted. So anyway, this is a picture of them early on. I got another picture that shows the row itself. And this is pretty much the same picture you saw earlier where they were all dead. But now this is like a couple months earlier and they were all alive and growing. And we're right beside this main road here. And there's that row of cabbage I was telling you about. So, things I did to achieve a 9-to-1 production. I handpicked the Colorado potato beetles off. I had a bad infestation. I handpicked them off, walking up and down the rows. Sometimes I'd walk up and down the rows, up and down the row 3 or 4 times at once. Good exercise doing that. I handpicked them all off. Toward the later part of the season, I had gotten rid of them completely by handpicking them off. I've tried to use sprays in the past, but the sprays don't work too well against those things. Early on, as soon as the plants got up to maybe a few inches high, I put some straw between the plants to hold the moisture in. I also got some Scott's bag manure. It's fairly cheap. It's about $2.50 a bag. and I put that between the plants. And then after I did that, I put more straw between the plants. I planted a double row. I only watered them once. I healed them twice and kept the weeds down. I fertilized and limed them before the planting. I planted deep. I dug out a row, and then I tilled that dugout section, and then I planted in that dugout section. And that, once again, was to get them kind of deep and hold the water in so they wouldn't be too high and get dried out. So that's what I did. Now, what I want to do next year, this fall and winter, I plan to plant some of the ones that I harvest. I plan to plant them back, and hopefully I can plant a whole row. And I've heard that they do a whole lot better because the roots can grow throughout the winter, and you'll have a lot better crop, a lot better harvest. So next year I hope to maybe get up to 15 pounds per 1 foot of double row, but we'll see how that goes. But I would like to really get up to about 20 pounds per 3 foot of row. But we'll see how that works. I'm going to try to do that this year. That's what my plans are. I'm going to haul in some manure and put it on the row and till the row really, really good and deep. And we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that's going to work pretty good, but we'll see how it goes. But once again, that's a little bit about my potato crop this year and the production that I received. I think I did really, really good this year. But next year I hope to do better. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please subscribe. I certainly would appreciate it. And I hope you folks have a nice day, and I'll be posting more gardening and outdoor videos on my channel. So subscribe, and you'll be notified when I post those. Thanks a lot, and you folks have a nice day.